Hey there everybody, just moving on to the next stage of the Oniwaban, which I discovered means spy. And first of all, I've given this luminous paint a really good shake, and it has come up a bit brighter. And I was just saying, I discovered that Oniwaban means spy, so I thought I'd go a little bit into sort of the origins of ninja. So, in case you didn't know, the first ever ninja, I can't remember the dates for them, was actually called Shinobi, hence the classic 80s game, and also the term being commonly associated with them. The word Shinobi means stealer in. That's the first person who was the progenitor as such of the ninja clans. Stole into the enemy camp to steal their plans. Actually, they weren't going there as assassins, and so sort of conceptually as such the ninja was born. Yeah, you can just see at the moment what I'm doing here is I'm just laying it up, and this is because this fluorescent paint is kind of interesting actually. It kind of has a transparent quality like ink. So in theory you could lay it up over different colours. I'll have to do some experimentation. If you laid it up over different colours you have an awful lot of possible effects that you can achieve. I really like translucency. It's a really useful thing. So anyway, going back to ninjas. The ninja clans as such were actually originally used as secret police by, I think it was actually the shogun and daimyos. And I also think that if you go back to the sort of warring states era in Japan, you have lots of monasteries and monastic traditions, and actually at one point the monasteries virtually ruled Japan by force of arms, because they were massively militant and highly capable. I think the most well-known warrior monk was a guy called Benkei. Spelled B-E-N-K-E-I if you're interested in looking him up. And there was an emperor that he was the sort of I'm not getting more paint off his feet. He was one of the guys that became emperor or shogun. One of the guys that became emperor or shogun. I can't remember which exactly right now. Just trying to think. I think it's something beginning with M, but I keep on wanting to say Miyamoto Musashi, and it's not him, because that's just like the greatest swordsman that ever lived. That's a different dude entirely, who is the greatest swordsman to ever live. Hence, he got remade for Aristea, because they wanted to see. But he is literally, historically, if you want to like have an argument about who the greatest swordsman to ever live is, it probably really is him. Although he considered a guy called Sasuke, Kojiro Sasuke, I can't remember which way is around. I think it's Sasuke Kojiro, who he considered to be a more skilled swordsman than himself. He did defeat him in a duel, but not as such in his mind by his skill of sword, but by his skill of strategy. And Miyamoto Musashi considered himself a strategist above all things. And in the time in which he lived, the way of the sword was considered to be the way of strategy. But that's sort of deviating away from ninja. There's a couple of interesting points about ninja. Is one, they're kind of the people's army, not in the sense of they are for the people, but so much as they are not made out of an aristocratic elite. Although samurai start out as bushi, bushi means warrior, hence bushido, the way of the warrior. Do is the way, bushi is warrior, and because Japanese it says everything the opposite way around to English, so it says warrior's way, whereas we would say the way of the warrior, and it's kind of, they remove all the thes and ises in some respects. So they can make a statement and turn it into a question after they've made the statement. But I like adding deska at the end. Whereas ninja did not follow this code of ethics. They were trained specific. Well, later on they became known and feared as assassins. But I think the assassin type training really started out as, well, you need to be able to fight in this day and age, because wherever you go you're going to have to fight. It wasn't optional back then. It didn't matter how, and also it doesn't matter how good at sneaking in you are. If you get caught, you want to try and stay alive. And I think it's only much later on that they become feared as sort of supreme assassins, because it's not until much later on, as the sort of shogun's secret police, that they start being trained in terms of the sort of kamikaze ethic, where you go in and you achieve your mission irrespective of anything else, and if you die, so be it, as long as your mission has been achieved. I think that kind of ethic started to creep in much later on. It wasn't the sort of they weren't initially just a kamikaze bunch that went in doing sort of supreme murdering. I think that came later. I'll have laid this paint a bit thick on this arm, but I'm just going to thin it out a bit. Also, as ever, this paint, being Vallejo, is it's very transparent, and it dries more transparent than it appears when it's wet. So if you do daub it onto an area and you think it's a bit thick, thin it out a bit, but don't worry too much. It seems to consistently dry very translucent. I'm still of two minds whether I really like it. Sometimes I do, when I want things to be really translucent. Sometimes I don't, but I do like these transparencies, like I say, because again this harks back to how I like to paint on flat surfaces. Like these days there tends to be a very simplistic attitude towards painting, whereas if you go back to the sort of Renaissance, there's some very, very dense schools of painting, and a lot of it is about building up your image and tinting it, much like I was doing with the Kaisotsu Butai. In some respects what I'm doing here, I'm certainly taking those principles and applying them. So this first coat of green, again you can see I wasn't too mega fussy around the eyes, but it's really just to start uniting all of this together. So next up, moving on to the grade. Now, with the trousers, I want to maintain that brown quality like I've got in the Kaisotsu Butai. So, just on the trousers, I'm now introducing dark brown, and this will create a difference in the blacks between the hakama, between the hakama and the black on the rest of the body. Yeah, this paint is ever so slightly lighter than the charcoal grey. Not a lot, but it is ever so slightly, and it will get finished with a lighter grey highlight. And I am simply doing this in order to introduce a bit of sort of brown warmth to the black, and to link this colouring through the hakama. Keep on removing paint from his toes. It's already beginning to bug me. I'm getting better, I'm being a bit more careful, and ultimately at the end I'll just I'll make them look muddy. That is my answer. My final solution. As a final solution, it sounds a bit wrong, doesn't it? And just keeping on. So the point of this is it'll just introduce the warm tone, so you end up with a brown black rather than a total black. Again, it just keeps everything consistently inconsistent, if that makes any sense. So even though everything will be black, there'll be that tonal variety and change. And equally you could do this by introducing, say, a blue tone, which is a bit so slightly, or a blue-grey as a teal highlighting before knocking everything back to black again. I really love the details on the back of these as well. Also the brown will contrast nicely with orange, and the stripes on the trousers, I kind of want to put them in orange, as if they're like, no, we operate for the Yuchin. Still not quite sure whether this Japanese Sectorial Army that I'm doing is pro or anti Yuchin. So having just done that, I will move on to the lighter or medium grey for everything else. So this time, rather than mixing any paint, I'm using a straight blue-grey. This is going to be like this is too bright. Sorry, that's me. I'm a man. It's gonna have to be at least part faded, I feel. If I'm gonna part fade it in this way, I'm gonna be doing it the aggressive finger dabbing way, I suppose. That's the only way I can call it. I'm just gonna try and keep everything within reach, and then remove the most of it with my finger. Sometimes, I mean, I can only really get away with this right now because I know that I'm tinting it back to black pretty hard in the not too distant future. And so I can get away with this kind of very aggressive colour change. Doesn't mean don't paint carefully though. It just means that I have a lot more ability to take advantage of my own brush mark. I don't want it to be mega messy. Just cutting in the blade, and I'm going to start introducing some white to it. I believe this is meant to be like a monofilament blade, so I just want to have like the leading edge up to white. I'll see about introducing some greens and stuff to this as well. So there's the black all inked in. You can still see a bit of the brown creeping through in the hakama, the trousers for everybody else. And yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it for the moment. So I'll catch you next time. Enjoy your painting, have a good one. Bye bye.